Well, welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs, and more people than ever are streaming in because people want to know how people are going back to business and managing in this new economy. And my name, again, Jeffrey Davis, returning guest, multiple time guest. That's questionable in itself. The one and the only David Gabor, partner at the Wagner Law Group. Welcome back, David.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, you're right. That is questionable. But anyway, I wanted to talk to people about getting your employees back to work and what's the best thing to do. So grab your writing sticks. Yeah, you know, pen, pencil. And we've got a top 10 list that rivals David Letterman. First is,
Wow.
don't rush to go back to work. Take some time to consider whether it's safe, what other companies are doing, what kind of feedback they're having. Take the time to plan out the workspace so that you're able to social distance at work. While you're going through the process, number two, keep your employees informed. Tell them what's going on. Tell them the truth. Don't tell them something because you want them to hear that. Tell them what really is going on, what steps you're taking. How are you going to make your workplace safe? Information from the CDC, the WHO, from the feds, from your state, and oftentimes your county or your city are good sources of guidance for you. Keep informed day after day after day, you know, in terms of what's going on. Fourth is understand your employees. What are they thinking? What are their concerns? What are their fears? The better you understand them, the better your communication with them will be. And here's an important thing. If you do this well, your employees will be more engaged than ever. You will build a bond, a connection with your employees that's critical. Telecommuting. Some employees can telecommute and do it very well. Others need to be in the office. When deciding how many people to bring back, because you can only bring back so many people and maintain social distancing in the office, think of the people who are more effective working remotely and allow them to continue to work remotely. It's a new normal. It's not what we thought about back in January or December, November last year, but it is our new reality. Number six is insurance policies. I hate to say it, but there is a risk of litigation. When companies are performing less than optimally, you do have concerns with your shareholders, shareholder derivative actions. People who hold notes may come after you. You may get litigation involving third parties if one of your employees infects somebody, either a guest in your office or if they're outside the office. You've got issues involving employment law cases. Find out what is and is not covered on your insurance, and it's a good time to think about insurance to best protect you in light of the types of claims that can get brought in the second half of 2020 and 2021. It's a good time to do it. Privacy is a new issue. There are three ways to look at it. One, when people are working remotely and they're accessing company information, some of your information is the product of years or even decades of information you've gathered, your blood, your sweat, your money, your energy. And we don't want this privacy on that information to be compromised. Second is if you're working with a client or a customer's information, that information is privileged and private. And third is when people working remotely are accessing information about other employees. So you work remotely, you share your computer with your kids, with your spouse, partner, friends, roommate. You print documents at home. You don't have the same expectation of privacy that you would in the workplace. Are you teaching your employees what to do to maintain the privacy in those three different ways? Number 8, this is the one that's going to drive us all nuts. Everything is etched in sand. Jeff, I didn't say stone on purpose, etched in sand. It's fluid. Keep up to speed on what's going on, because what is true today may not be true tomorrow in a lot of places. Next is that I hate to remind people, the employment laws still are in full force and effect. Last week, FedEx settled the case with the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, for $3.3 million. Litigation and claims in employment law are alive and well. And the last point, number 10, is that A word, Yeah, audit. Sorry about that. But we've got to talk about it because with people working remotely, with people coming back into work and other people are remote, we are having to revisit employee classification. I'll give you an example. We've got a guy with us named Robert. Robert works from home now, and he's an outside salesperson. And in a normal week, Robert would be paying visits to people in 2 or 3 different states. Now he's home. He's been home for 2 months, and he's going to be home for the next 2 months. He had an outside sales exemption under the Fair Labor Standards Act. Not anymore if he's working from home and he's not traveling. He's not no longer outside sales. We've got Kristen. Kristen manages 3 people. She's not managing anybody right now with the way things are going. She's no longer exempt. So we do need to audit wage and hour, employee classification, and also contractors versus employees. So Jeff, that's my top 10 list of things to think about as you're trying to get your teams back to work and trying to stay out of harm's way.
You know, David, as you went through the list, I kept thinking, what's my priorities on these lists? And I think that they're all priorities. I couldn't decide which one was more important than another, but I know a lot of entrepreneurs, they would say, oh, these are all important things. I just got to worry about delivering product or service out the door to my clients to get cash flow going again. And they're going to ignore some of these things. What do you say to that person about ignoring this list? Because it's just going to lead to problems.
Well, I think the first thing they've got to think about is health and safety. And if they prioritize, number one, you want your team to be safe. You want your team to be healthy. Don't ask things of your employees that you would not do yourself or let somebody in your immediate family do. That's the first and foremost. So organizing your office, planning your office, how you communicate with your people, getting the information you need is the top priority. You know, if you want to play Russian roulette, well, then you can play Russian roulette with training on privacy and doing an audit and just hope that you don't get sued. But frankly, all 10 are very important, but I always am of the opinion health trumps all.
Well, I think you're right. Don't rush. And you know what? I think don't rush, but also understand your employees. You have to understand, culture, beats strategy every time. And it's very important to make sure that you're keeping your people connected and feeling that they're still part of an organization with a set of goals and that they're still an important priority for the leadership.
And that goes back to communication. If you let them know what you're doing and why you're doing it, they'll be more engaged. And that will pay dividends in the long run. And I know these, especially smaller businesses right now, it's such a difficult position. I feel terribly for them, and just hoping that what we're doing is giving them information that helps them navigate through these choppy waters.
Well, not everybody works for a good employer like you do. That's for sure.
You're too kind, Jeff. Too kind.
One of a kind. David, if somebody was looking for your help and assistance in terms of navigating these 10 issues to getting back to work, how would they find you?
Well, 2 ways. One is they can reach me by phone. Get that writing stick out again, 617-532-8035. My email is dgabor for Gabor, my last name, at Wagner, Wagner, lawgroup.com. And Jeff, by the way, yes, my last name is Gabor, and yes, my daughters are the Gabor sisters.
Jesus.
And they really are.
Wow. I bet you that's not the first time you've said that.
No, and I've heard it once or twice over the years.
Must have started in high school. But I'm still stuck on writing stick. I didn't know we were going to be doing stand-up this morning, but it was kind of serious stand-up. So.
Well, it's what we do. You know, if you're doing a David Letterman top 10 list, you have to have some material.
Well, that's good. And you look very healthy, and I'm glad to hear that. We hope you stay healthy and that you're following your top 10 list as well.
Thank you, Jeff. You do the same.
Thank you
for
very
the
much.
chance to talk to everybody.
Remind everybody we are speaking to the one and the only David Gabor, partner at the Wagner Law Group. We'll be right back with more stories after this short break.